Hey guys, Raymond here, and I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions, a lot of tweets, Snapchats from everyone asking me how to balance these Glidecam stabilizers, whatever you want to call them. So I thought I'd have my dad talk about it and explain to you guys how to go about doing this, because he knows like all the science and stuff, and he'll teach you step by step how to get super smooth shots and how to get it perfectly balanced. So without further ado, here we go.
Hey, Scott here, 316 Films. I'm Raymond's dad, and I'm going to walk you through the process of balancing your handheld stabilizers. So what we laid out here today is some of the ones that are in a collection of Raymond's and mine's. This Glidecam 2000, Wheelie, this is the new Flycam Red King, and this is the older Flycam 5000. So the process I'm going to do will work for any one of these. Be a little bit different because of the features in the handheld stabilizer, but we're going to start off by balancing the Wheelie first, because it's more common, because it has more of the bread plate type of top to it, and then we may bring you through a quick section on the Red King. So what we're going to do is we're going to take my NEX rig here, and we'll mount and balance that, and I'll bring you through that process. Alright guys, here we go. So we're going to deal with the Wheelie right now, which is probably more popular of a style, or more common of a style that you guys are using, because it has a larger like bread plate type of top to it. So we need to, before we get going, we need to know a couple things, and considering what camera you're using and what its balance points are. So maybe you just have a regular DSLR, maybe it's a Rebel camera, maybe a Mark III 5D Canon, or I have an NEX here with a SID lens on it and a rail system on it and a monitor on it. So what we need, the most important thing is we need to start with figuring out kind of the balance of the camera, because this is going to dictate where we put things on top of the handheld stabilizer, and trying to get things close so we don't run out of adjustment on them. So I'm going to give you a trick I use a drumstick. You can use any type of wooden dowel or something, and we can kind of quickly figure out how to balance, where the balance point of your camera is, and that's probably one of the most important things to start with. So here we go. Okay guys, so we're going to use a drumstick because it's round, and we can quickly kind of figure out where the balance point of the camera is, so we know where to set it on a handheld stabilizer. So one of the things I would do real quick first is just, this one has a little bit of adjustment to it. Yours may just be a single camera that you're mounting directly to it. Either or, this will work the same process, whether you have a whole bunch of accessories on a rail and cage system or not. So this process will work both ways. So all I want to do is, I just want to kind of figure out left and right, where's the camera kind of balance out, where does it fall, because it won't fall too much to the same place. So now I know where she's kind of balanced, and then I'm going to turn it around and then get a front and back balance, so I know kind of where to put things on it. So this one's a little nose heavy. Okay, I'm good, I'm happy. I know that for my particular one, I'm going to mount it, the balance point is somewhere off to just a little bit over. And the reason why what's important about that is when we put it on the plate is, we want to mount the camera through a hole on the plate, that the center of balance is in the center of this plate. Now my camera's mounted to the plate. It actually, when you look at it, it will be a little bit off to the side, and that's because it's a little bit heavier on this side, probably because of the monitor and maybe the battery side of the camera being a little off to that side. I know that we're pretty much in the center of this. We'll be close to balance. Alright, so now we're going to mount the camera on top of the stabilizer. This is pretty much just how you get a box. I'm just checking to see that I'm centered. My left and right is centered, and my forward and back looks like it's centered on the rails. That will be my starting point, because I'll be looking to either adjust it forward, backwards, left, or right, depending on how everything sits. Okay, camera's mounted, and what we want to do now is just get a little bit balance of our basically our dropper, where it's sitting. The Wheelie's nice, the Red King's nice, because they both have a sliding gimbal, so they slide up and down. This helps creating the balance point of it, but obviously with this camera there's so much weight at the top, I'm gonna have to add weights, otherwise she just wants to keep flopping over. So this is the point where I'm gonna start to add weight to the system to see if we can slow it down and try to get a little bit of balance out of it, okay? So I'm just gonna throw them all on there for now and then see how everything works. And you could do the same. If you have a lighter camera, start off with 1, maybe 2, and then we're going to do this next step here. Okay, so now we got our weights on, and we're going to take a look kind of like at our drop and see what's happening here, and then see if we can get this thing to kind of drop. See, we still don't quite have enough weight on our bottom end, and I'm using all the weight that they supplied. So here's what you can do. If you don't have a gimbal that slides, okay, and we can't really change that balancing point there, what we're going to do is now we're going to extend the base. And real important not to go too far. We're just going to go a little at a time here and then see how that changes things. So maybe that's what, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. So let's see how we do with a drop time. That's good. That's really slow. I've heard other people review it before, and some of the other companies recommend anywhere from 2.5 to 3 second drop. This is not important right now. All we want to do is we want to get it to drop slowly right now. The reason to have it drop slowly is because it's going to help us fine-tune the balance better. So we don't want it to rocket fast. We don't have to worry about 2 to 3. It could take 4 seconds to drop, and that is absolutely okay if it does 4 seconds to drop. So real fast, you notice how the camera spins around. That's obviously telling us that now the top needs to be balanced out, and this is where we're going to get our nice stable footage from, level footage while we're moving with it, where we don't have to give it a lot of input with our steering finger, and that's what we're going to take care of next. The best way is lifting it off a table. Some companies will supply you with a little hook for a table. Some people say you put it on a tripod, hang it. That is not going to help you at all, because that's not kind of real world input into what's happening with your stabilizer. You have inertia happening. As we pick it up and we move forward, we have inertia going into the system. So if bottom is heavier, no matter what, when you're standing still, it will always go straight. Even if it was out of balance, it'll go to straight. So our balancing process is going to be a true balance that takes into consideration the inertia that's going actually into your stabilizer system. Here's how I do this. So we start off with a flat table. You could do it on a flat ground. If you're out on a job, you could do it off the hood of your truck or the tailgate of your truck. It doesn't matter, as long as it's a flat surface. What we want to be able to do is lay this flat with our hand, and we want to lift it straight up. And you see how it starts going in one direction, okay? And now you see how it's kind of wanting to come back and find it's stable. So immediately, this is telling us she's nose heavy and she's heavy to the left. Okay, so we're going to work on correcting that right now before we deal with drop time. So let's start fixing that up and see what we can come up with. So we're going to loosen up our slides here, and we're going to do some quick adjustments to it. Still looks a little front heavy. So the front heavy looks good at that point. So I'm just gonna tighten up the rails just a little bit here, and we'll come back if we have to and fine tune them again a little bit. So we'll loosen up our bottom adjustment screws here, and then the wheelie's nice. It gives us a little slide here. Let's see, we're going to the left. So we want to bring this thing to the right a little bit. See how we get going here. Still heavy on the left. Sorry guys, going the wrong way. Okay, so we're going to the left. We're going to keep bringing it over to the right. It's getting a little better. And you see how fast I'm doing this here? Don't panic if you think the video's going fast. You can stop and rewind it. But the reality is, look, it's not balancing. It's still pulling to the left. We're going to keep going to the right with it to get her to straighten out. And that looks good. It looks like it may be a little bit back heavy, but here's the deal, guys. Back heavy is okay. If it's a little back heavy, it's only going to be to your advantage when you're running with your stabilizer, okay? Because the heavier the mass, the more inertia it needs to move it forward. So if it's level, and obviously it's heavier on the bottom, okay? It's gonna take more inertia to get the bottom moving. So the bottom is actually, when you start running, the bottom actually will take a second to catch up to the top in that situation. So if it's a little back heavy, that's probably to your advantage if you're gonna start running with it and you end up one-handing it after someone else. It doesn't need to be perfect. It will always change. Your footage improves the more you can control your drop time with it. So we got a good balance going on here. It looks pretty straight for us lifting it up and down, right? So now we just want to revisit our drop time here. So 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. So it's about 3 seconds, okay? Which is good. So this is a usable setup right here to run around with, to hold. In the skill of it, I tend to steer with my 2 fingers underneath the gimbal. I know some other people like to be down here with the gimbal. It doesn't matter. Play with your stabilizer every day. Develop your forearm strength, develop your shoulder strength that you can keep holding the thing steady without nice thing is, if it gets windy out, what you can do is you might want to increase your drop time when it gets windy out. So we either lengthen the rod and make it a little bit faster. That's like 2 seconds there, and that'll help with the wind. My problem is using an external monitor. You get hung up in the wind it acts like a sail in the wind, and it tends to steer the Glidecam or the stabilizer all on its own. So I'll adjust either in my length of my rod. Most of the time I'll try to adjust in the gimbal because I have that ability with a wieldy. Red King, Devin Graham, all of those, you'll have the ability to do it. So consider that right there. So there it is, guys. Real simple, nothing hard, quick balance on it, and don't worry about perfect. It's not a perfect world. It's not an electric gimbal. Take this out, run around in the desert. We get to run around in the desert, Raymond and I. You don't have to worry about batteries. But work on your technique. Work on steering it. Work on how you're tracking your subjects, how your tilt is to keep your framing with it, and have a lot of fun with it. But that's it in a nutshell. That's how we balance it real fast. It didn't take me very long. All right, last note so I don't run on. Thanks to Sony, thanks to Miller, thanks to Rode mics. They've been great support for Raymond, and I'm behind the scenes and everything when it comes to 316 films. Ray's our awesome editor. I'm the second camera guy and moral support. Good luck, guys. Keep shooting, and lots of practice, develop technique. See you next time.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have learned something valuable, and hopefully this has helped you a lot with your stabilizer and Glidecam. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I can try helping you guys out as much as I can. If something didn't work right for you or is not going well, I can help you guys out. So just leave all your feedback in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out my social media all over here, because I'm always active and you can see everything I'm doing and know when I have a new video out. Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, like it, and also subscribe, because that helps me know that you guys are watching and you want more content. So I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.